بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه قال حدثنا ابراهيم بن موسى قال اخبرنا عيسى قال حدثنا عبيد الله يعني ابن ابي زياد عن عبد الله بن عبيد بن عمير عن ابي علقمه ان عثمان رضي الله عنه دعا بماء فتوضا فافرغ بيده اليمنى على اليسرى ثم غسلهما الى الكوعين قال ثم مضمض واستنشق ثلاثا وذكر الوضوء ثلاثا قال ومسح برأسه ثم غسل رجليه وقال رأيت رسول الله توضأ مثل ما رأيتموني توضأت ثم ساق نحو حديث الزهري وتم. Right. So now another hadith from Al-Usman that from Abi Al-Qama. So Abi Al-Qama is the one that's narrating all this, right? That Usman called for water, then he made wuzu, then he poured with his right hand on his left, then he washed him both of the rest. Then he made madmada, he made istinshaq 3 times. Then he mentioned the wuzu thrice. And he made masa of his head, then he washed his feet, and he said, I saw Nabi Akram making wuzu, the likeness of that which you see me making wuzu. Then he continued similar to the hadith of Zuhri, that first hadith there. And he has made it, made it more complete, right? And he said it till the end. وابي قال حدثنا هارون بن عبد الله قال حدثنا يحيى بن آدم قال حدثنا إسرائيل عن عامر بن شقيق بن جمرة عن شكيب بن سلمة قال رأيت عثمان بن عفان غسل ذراعيه ثلاثا ومسح رأسه ثلاثا ثم قال رأيت رسول الله فعل هذا قال أبو داود رواه وكيع عن إسرائيل قال تودى ثلاثا قط. Right, narrated from Shaqib bin Salmata. He said, I saw Usman ibn Affan washing his arms three times, and he made masa of his head 3 times. So yes, sorry, 3 times. Then he said, I saw Nabi Karim Sam doing like this. Abu Dawud Rahman says, and also Waqi also narrates from Ismail, and he said, and he makes wuzu 3 times only. Right. So Musannif Rahman, by these words here now, he's showing that by saying Abu Dawud, Waqi also narrates from Israel, and he says that he made wuzu 3 times only, right? So if you look at it now, in these two, in this particular hadith, who's narrating from Israel? In the first sanad, it is Yahya ibn Adam. You saw it. And the second one, he says Israel also. So Israel, Waqi, in this hadith it's Waqi, right? Which one is it? Let's see now quickly. Waqi is this one. So the first one is Yahya ibn Adam narrating from Israel, and in the second sanad here that he mentions, it's Waqi narrating from Israel, right? Right. In Waqi's riwayat, he got only tawadda salasan, right? And in Yahya ibn Adam's riwayat, he got masaha ra'sahu salasan. So Musannif was saying that masaha ra'sahu salasan, it's weak because Waqi is also, the other student is not mentioning that. He's also narrating from Israel, but he's not mentioning masaha ra'sahu salasan, right? Then they say Waqi is stronger than Yahya, right, as a narrator. And then if we look at Yahya ibn Adam, they say he's riwayat now of making masa of the head 3 times. It goes against all the sahih hadiths of Usman radiallahu anhu. Right. وبه قال حدثنا مسدد قال حدثنا أبو عوانة عن خالد بن علقمة عن عبد خير قال أتانا علي وقد صلى فدعا بطهور فقلنا ما يصنع بالطهور وقد صلى ما يريد إلا ليعلمنا فأتي بإناء فيه ماء وتست فأفرغ من الإناء على يمينه فغسل يديه 3 ثم تمضمض واستنثر 3 فمضمض ونثر من الكف الذي يأخذ فيه ثم غسل وجهه 3 وغسل يده اليمنى 3 وغسل يده الشمال 3 ثم جعل يده في الإناء فمسح برأسه مرة واحدة ثم غسل رجله اليمنى 3 ورجله اليسرى 3 ثم قال من سره أن يعلم وضوء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فهو هذا. Right. Narrated from Khalid ibn Alqama from Abdi Khair, and he said that Ali radiallahu anhu came to us and while he had recited Salah already. So he called for wuzu water. So we said, what is he going to do? We said amongst ourselves or to one another, right? That what will he do with wuzu water while he had recited Salah already? It is not, he does not intend except so that he may teach us. So a utensil was brought in which there was water and a copper utensil. Then he poured from the utensil upon his right hand. Then he washed his hands thrice. Then he made madmada, and then he cleans his then he cleans his nose thrice, and he gargle his mouth, and he cleans his nose from the palm which he took water in. Right. Then he washes his face 3 times. Then he washes his right hand 3 times. Then he washes his left hand 3 times. Then he put his hand in the utensil. Then he made masa of his head 1 time. Then he washed his right foot thrice and his left foot thrice. Then he said, whoever pleases him that he would know or he'd learn the wuzu of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So it is thus here. Right. So now we have now did the wuzu of Hazrat Usman. Now we're doing the wuzu of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu. Right. So if you look at the one Rawi de Abdi Khair, if you see the an Abdi Khair, right? Abdi Khair was a Mukhazra from the Mukhazramin. And I explained to you as a Mukhazramin, they got the period of Jahiliyyat, they got the period of Islam. However, he didn't accept Islam in the time of Nabi Karim Sam. He accepted Islam after the passing away of Nabi Karim Sam. He was also from the students of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, and he lived a very long life. Somebody asked him, how long did you live? And he said, 120 years. Right? Right. Waqad Salah, yeah, they said he had recited Salah already. So which Salah was it? They say it's Fajr Salah, and that you'll that is manifest in the next riwayat. Right. Then where was this place? It was a place called Rahba, which was a place in Kufa. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu's Darul Khilafah was in Kufa. Right. From here you understand now that how important it is now to teach how the Sahaba Ikram went out of their way to teach the students, to teach the Tabi'een. You understand it? And we find also and how the students made effort to learn, right? We find there's a riwayat in Abu Dawood also Babu Ghasl Janaba, where Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, it was his habit that when he's making ghusl for Janabat, then he'd wash his hands 7 times. So his student Shu'bah bin Dinar, who was now helping him, right? So he forgot how many times he washed his hands, and he asked him, and he said, La adri, I can't remember how much times you washed your hands already. So he said, La ummalak wa ma mana'aka an tadri. So he shouted him and he said, what is stopping you from to get to know? So it shows that the ustad has to teach the students, and the students should make an effort to learn. Right. فَمَضْمَضَ وَنَسَرَ مِنَ الْكَفِّ الَّذِي يَأْخُذُ فِيهِ. Those are the words there. He made madmada and istinsar from the hand which he took the water in. Right. Whereas we know that madmada is with the right hand, and istinsar istinsar means to clean your nose. So you clean your nose, you put the water with the right hand in your nose, and then you clean your nose with the left hand. So they say istansraya in the meaning of istanshaka, to put water in the nose. And then there's no doubt, that there can't be any now doubt that he used his right hand for istinsar. You understand it? Right. وبي قال حدثنا ابن علي الحلواني قال حدثنا حسين بن علي الجعفي عن زايدة قال حدثنا خالد بن علقمة الهمداني عن عبد خير قال صلى علي الغداة ثم دخل الرحبة فدعا بماء فأتاه الغلام بإناء فيه ماء وتست. قال فأخذ الإناء بيده اليمنى فأفرغ على يده اليسرى وغسل كفيه 3 ثم أدخل يده اليمنى في الإناء فتمضمض 3 واستنشق 3 ثم ساق قريبا من حديث أبي أوانة قال ثم مسح رأسه من مقدمه ومؤخره مرة ثم ساق الحديث نحوه. Right. Also now the same riwayat from Abdi Khair, he said Ali read the Fajr Salah, then he entered Rahba. Then he called for water, then a boy brought him water in a utensil in which there was water and a copper utensil. Then he took the utensil with his right hand and he poured it on his left hand and he washed his hands thrice. Then he entered his right hand in the utensil. Then he gargled his mouth thrice and he put water in his nose thrice. Then he continued close to the hadith of Abu Awana. Then he said, then he made masa of his head, the front of it and the back of it once. Then he continued the hadith in the same way. Right, right. So, summa saka qaribam. In other words, he continued the hadith close to the hadith of Abi Awana. So, saka here is referring to the Rawi de Zaida, right? This whole hadith is based on Khalid ibn Alqama, right? And Alqama had a few students, right? First hadith was Abu Awana, and here it was Zaida. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing that now? Let's see if you see there now. حدثنا أبو أوانا عن خالد بن علقمة, and here is also now حدثنا عن زايدة قال حدثنا خالد بن علقمة الهمداني. You understand it? All right. وبي قال حدثنا محمد مسنى قال حدثني محمد جعفر قال حدثنا شعبة قال سمعت مالك بن قرفوتة قال سمعت عبد خير قال رأيت عليا أتي بكرسي فقعد عليه ثم أتي بكوز من ماء فغسل يده ثلاثا ثم مضمض مع الاستنشاق بماء واحد وذكر الحديث. Right. He said, I heard Malik ibn Urfutata. He said, I heard Abdul Khair saying that I saw a chair was brought for him and he sat upon it. Then he was brought to the utensil of water. Then he washed his hands 3 times and he made madmada. What is istinshaq? What one water? And he mentions the hadith. Right. So here now, this is the third student now of Khalid ibn Alqamata. And what's his name? Shu'bah. If we look at there now, where is it? Let's see. حدثنا شعبة. But the mistake Shu'bah made, he said Malik ibn Urfatata, right? Whereas you started actually Khalid ibn Alqamata. You understand it? So he's actually the third student of Khalid ibn Alqamah, but he mentioned Malik ibn Urfatata. Right. Right. And I saw Ali, a chair was brought from Umrah Hadith. You can understand it was the habit of the Sahaba Ikram, or rather that Sahaba Ikram used to also use a chair. And we find in Kitabul Jummah, Nabi Akram also sat on a chair. Right. Right. وبه قال حدثنا عثمان بن ابي شيبه قال حدثنا ابو نعيم قال حدثنا ربيعه الكناني عن المنهال بن عمرو عن زر بن حبيش انه سمع علي رضي الله عنه وسئل عن وضوء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فذكر الحديث وقال ومسح راسه حتى لما يقطر وغسل رجليه ثلاثا ثم قال هكذا كان وضوء هذا هكذا كان وضوء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Right. Narrated from Zir ibn Hubaysh, I said he had Ali when he was asked about the wuzu of Nabi Karim, then he mentioned the hadith and he said he made masa of his head until it was close to dropping, and he washed his feet 3 times, and he said like this is the wuzu of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. So until it was close to dropping, that means he washed his head. So they say because Sahih hadith showed 1 masah and not 3 times masah, right? Therefore, lamma in the meaning of lam. So until it did not drop, and until it did not drop, that would mean masah khafif. You understand? A light masah. You understand? Until it did not drop. Right. وبه قال حدثنا زياد بن أيوب التوسي قال حدثنا عبيد الله بن موسى قال حدثنا فتر عن أبي فروة عبد الرحمن بن أبي ليلى قال رأيت عليا رضي الله عنه تودع فغسل وجهه 3 وغسل ذراعيه 3 ومسح برأسه 1 قال هكذا تودع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Right. I saw Ali making wuzu, and he washed his face thrice, and he washed his arms thrice, and he made masa of his head once. Then he said like this was the Nabi Karim made wuzu. Right. وبه قال حدثنا مسدد وابو توبة قال حدثنا ابو الاحوص واخبرنا عمرو بن عون قال اخبرنا ابو الاحوص. Right. انا ابي اسحاق انا ابي حية قال رايت عليا تودع فذكر وضوءه كله 3 قال ثم مسح رأسه ثم غسل رجليه إلى الكعبين ثم قال إنما أحببت أن أريكم طهور رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Right, from I saw Ali radiallahu anhu making wuzu, then he mentioned his wuzu, all of it three times. Then he said, then he made masah of his head, then he washed his feet until the ankles. Then he said, indeed, I wish to show you the wuzu of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وبه قال حدثنا عبد العزيز بن يحيى الحراني قال حدثنا محمد يعني ابن سلمة عن محمد بن إسحاق عن محمد بن طلحة بن يزيد بن ركانة عن عبيد الله الخولاني عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما. So now it's Ibn Abbas's hadith about the wuzu, right? قال دخل علي علي يعني ابن أبي طالب. No, there's still Zid Ali's, right? يعني ابن وقد أهراق الماء فدعا بوضوء فأتيناه بتور فيه ماء حتى وضعناه بين يديه فقال ابن عباس ألا أريك كيف كان يتودأ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ قلت بلى. فأسغى الإناء على يده فغسلها ثم أدخل يده اليمنى فأفرغ بها على الأخرى ثم غسل كفيه ثم تمضمض واستنشر ثم أدخل يديه في الإناء جميعا فأخذ بهما حفنة من ماء فضرب بها على وجهه ثم ألقم إبهاميه ما أقبل من أذنيه ثم ثانية ثم ثالثة مثل ذلك ثم أخذ بكفه اليمنى قبضة من ماء فصبها على ناصيته فتركها تستن على وجهه ثم غسل ذراعيه إلى المرفقين ثلاثا ثم مسح رأسه وظهور أذنيه ثم أدخل يديه جميعا فأخذ حفنة من ماء فضرب بها على رجله وفيها النعل ففتلها بها ثم الأخرى مثل ذلك. قال قلت وفي النعلين قال وفي النعلين قال قلت وفي النعلين قال وفي النعلين قال قلت وفي النعلين قال وفي النعلين. قال أبو داود حديث ابن جرير عن شعبة يشبه حديث علي لأنه قال فيه حجاج بن محمد عن ابن جريج ومسح برأسه مرة واحدة وقال ابن وهب فيه عن ابن جريج ومسح برأسه ثلاثا. Right, so there's another method of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, right? From Ibn Abbas now narrates it. Ali radiallahu anhu entered upon us, meaning Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he had passed urine. Then he called for wuzu water. We brought him a utensil in it was water until we placed it in front of him. He said, "Oh Ibn Abbas, shall I not show you how Nabi Akram was making wuzu?" I said, "Surely." So he poured the utensil upon his hand. Then he washed him. Then he entered his right hand in the utensil, right? Then he poured with it upon the other. Then he washed his hands. So he washed his right hand first, then he put it in, and he washed his other hand, the left hand. Then he washed both hands, right? Then he made mother and he made istinsar. Then he entered his hands in the utensil together. Then he took with his two hands a scoop of water. Then he hit with it upon his face. Then he made a lukma of his thumbs of that which is in front from his ears, right? Then the second time, then the third time like that. So he did it 3 times now. In other words, doing his masa of his ear already, right? Then he took with his right hand a scoop of water, then he poured it upon his forehead. Then he left it to drip on his face. Then he washed his arms till the elbows three times. Then he made masa of his head, and then the outer portion of his ears, right? Then he entered his hands together. Then he took a scoop of water. Then he hit with it upon his feet, and on his feet was a shoe. Then he twisted it with it. Then he another time like that. He said. Then I said, and in the in the 2 shoes. He said, and in the 2 shoes. And he said, I said, and in the 2 shoes. He said, and in the 2 shoes. I said. And in the 2, he said, I said, and in the 2 shoes. And he said, and in the 2 shoes. Right. Imam Abu Dawud says the hadith of Ibn Jurayr from Shayba resembles the hadith of Ali radiallahu anhu, because Hajjaj ibn Muhammad says in it from Ibn Jurayj, and he make masa of his head 1 time, and Ibn Wahab says in it from Ibn Jurayj, and he make masa of his head 3 times. Okay, let's see what's here now. So it's a completely different method here, right, of wuzu. Right. The first point that mentioned here about this whole hadith here is just that He said, yeah, وَقَدْ إِهْرَاقَ أَهْرَاقَ الْمَاءَ. He has passed urine. And one hadith says, لَا يَقُولُ أَحَدُكُمْ أَهْرَقْتُ الْمَاءَ وَلَكِنْ يَقُولُ أَبُولُ. Nobody should say, I passed water, urine. He should say, I urinated, right? So they say, how you say this now, is that they say that this hadith here, which لا يقول أحدكم أهرقت الماء, this hadith is very weak. You understand it? So there is no objection, there's no contradiction with this hadith here that we mentioned now in the kitab, right? Then the other thing here is that Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Ibn Abbas, it's not that he didn't know wuzu, he knew how to make wuzu. But here Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, is showing a different method now of wuzu. You understand it? In fact, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he saw Nabi Akram making wuzu many times, right? But here now, Ibn Ali radiallahu anhu is showing him a method which is contrary to what he normally knows. So there are many things in this hadith here which is contrary to normal, right? The first ishkal that happens here is that he slapped the water on his face, right? Which is contrary to adab, right? So the answer to this is that here, latama in the meaning of sabbal ma, he poured the water on his face, right? He poured the water, right? The other thing is that he did here, with washing the face, he put his tasbih finger into his ears, right? And that means he did it with washing the face, whereas we normally do it after making masa of the head. So there are some that say this here, right? So Jamhur's answer to this is just 1 or 2 times if you do this is permissible, but the masnoon tariqa is you do it with your head. You understand it? Right. The other different thing he did in this hadith, in this wuzu here, is he washed his face 3 times, right? Then he put water on his head, put water on his forehead, and he left it to drip over his face, right? So they say all the answers now to this whole method of wuzu, the simple answer is that Imam Bukhari has declared this hadith as weak, right? The second answer they give here is that the putting water on his head was not as part of the wuzu. It was to cool himself down. So now you're not wasting water now. Now it is just for coolness, right? Then the other thing is got there. The objection there is that if he's got the shoe on and he's putting water now on the top there, how is he going to wash the whole foot? How is he going to wash the whole foot, right? So the one answer he says that initially making masa on the foot was allowed, then it became mansukh, right? The other answer is that this wasn't masa on the foot, right? It was masa on the jawrab, on the like the leather socks, right? Then qala wa qultu wa finna alain, and was it 2 shoes on, right? Who was this communication between, right? It's possible it could have been between Ibn Abbas and his student Ubaidullah Khawlani, right? That's what it's possible you could do. And the other answer that's given is that despite him having the shoe on, like you got a champal, that shoe was like a champal. So if you got a champal on, you can still wash your whole foot. You can still wash your whole foot, right? So now at the end, what Musannif Rahman is saying there is that in all the hadith of Ali radiallahu anhu, it was never the masaha ra'sahu salasan. Then Musannif Rahman said there's a one other tariq here which didn't come, right? And he mentions it there that the students of the Ibn Jurayj, right? Most of them said masaha bi ra'si marratan. And there's one student here, Hajjaj bin Muhammad, right? And some of his students here said masaha bi ra'si salasan, right? And that student's name was Ibn Wahab, right? So therefore Imam Abu Dawud is saying that most of the students didn't say masaha bi ra'si salasan. Okay, leave it till there.